Hi and welcome to Student Record System. So what's happening is this tutorial was developed using an object-oriented technique with inheritance and polymorphism. As you know, with polymorphism, what will happen is the child class will always replace the data in the parent's class. So that's what's happening in here. Okay, so let me show you guys how this works. This is the old that's actually the old grading system, and the previous one, that is distinction, merit, and so on. And now we have a new grading system, which is 9 or 1 to 9 or 9 to 1. So let's say we increase one or two of these of Tommy's grades right here. And supposing we select that, you see it's got merit anyway. Let's see what will happen. Let's see merit, and it's now a B, and B is a merit actually. And let's see the new grading system there. So what will happen now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Visual Basic Development environment. I will just put one of these together using an object-oriented technique with inheritance and polymorphism. So let's do that now, guys. Hi, this tutorial is going to be an object-oriented Visual Basics tutorial of student recording system. So I'm going to start by clicking on New Project, and let's give that a name. Make sure Visual Basic is selected, Windows Forms application, and right there let's give it a name, VB_OO_student_. Records there. So I'm going to save this project now. Okay, the form is ready. So what I'll do is, you see this size, where we have size, I'm going to define the size to be 1386 here, and the height is going to be 800. Right here you see where we have text, I'm going to change that to student records there, and we have student records there. The next thing I'll do is, because I intend to use a database for these various student records, I'm going to open up my Access database. And one other thing about this tutorial is it's going to include the use of a detailed object-oriented programming that we include inheritance and polymorphism. So guys, let's go into Access now. Okay, right there I'm going to select blank database, and let's give that a name. Let's just call it student_records with an S, and straight onto my document area. Let's click on create. So the next thing I like to do now is to define this table. So right in there, so let's right click and edit. And first of all, let's give it a name. I think I'm just going to call it student records as well. Student_records there, and just click on save. So the first thing is going to be student ID. Then let's enter name, our first name. Then we have a surname there. Let's go for maybe gender. Okay, I'm going to have to speed this up, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, this is how my database looks right now. So let me just drag it down so that you guys can see it. That's the rest of the fields. Okay, there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this. Let's make sure it's all saved. Yeah, it is saved. And let's close it, and we go back to Visual Basic. So close that there. Alright, the next thing is, let's go straight to the tools and connect to database. Right, and let's browse straight to our project right here, our database. I think it's somewhere here, student records. There we go. Get rid of this admin, I don't need it. You may have to test it to make sure that works as expected. Click on OK. There we go. That's our database in there. Now I'm going to go to view and let's select all the window, and the window that I'm looking for is the data source. There we go. That's our data source now. And inside the data source, let's click on add new data source, and there, and click on next again. Select the database we intend to use, that is it right there. Click on next, and this dialog box that pops up is actually asking you to confirm if you would like the database to be saved inside your project folder. I'm going to click on yes and then click on next, but before that, note the name of the database. So let's click on next, and there, now we have all our fields right there. There we go. And now I'm going to check that and make sure the fields are checked. Okay, we don't need the view, so let's click on finish. Okay, this is how the database looks right now inside the data source. Once you click on finish, there we go. Let me show it to you guys. So the next thing I like to do is to just design the interface before we drag the fields on board. Okay, let's look for a panel. There we go. That's my panel right here. The other thing I'm going to need is, before I continue, I'm going to need menu. So let's change that to 3D. And in here, let's just copy this database again. Yeah, right there. And right here, we just need this for our title. Paste that in there. Right there, and let's go back to the data source. See, right inside the data source, we need all of those information now, all of the fields we have in here. So make sure details are selected, drag it and drop it on board, and there we go, guys. You see, everything is right there now. It's all there. So what I'm going to do is just maybe move this up a little bit so that I can get it all in. Okay guys, this is how it all looks now, though it's not that finished yet. It's going to be more modification, but before I continue, I'm going to go to project and create some classes. I'm going to need about 3 of those. So the first one would be more or less like the parent class, and the other 2 would just be like the child class. So the first class here that I'll select, let me enter in there. I'm going to call that old grading system. So let's click on add. So that's the old grading system class. Font, there we go. Now let's add another class. This other class, I'm going to call this class previous grading system. I'll just copy that and enter previous right there. Right, previous grading system. Make sure the class is selected and click on add. Then the last one, I'm going to call this class, maybe I should give it, let's see, new grading system. Okay, just change that to new grading system. Okay, the reason being is we have, you know, this different method of grading system with A, B, C, and so on. Then we have distinction, merit, and pass. Then finally we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up to 9 different methods. Okay, let's start with the old grading system. In the old grading system, this is more or less like the parent. So what I'm going to do with the old grading system is I would not be using all of this information here, but I think maybe I should just add the candidate's name. So let's come into the old grading system and declare the following data member. So private, let's say name as string. So the data type is string for name. Then what about all the units? So let's say we have private unit 1. Each of these units do have a name anyway, so I'm going to give them all their names on the system for each of these units. I think the names are all here. See, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I'm sorry, 8 in total. So that's mass is going to be unit 1. Then we have unit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be 6, 7, and unit 8. There we go. Those are all the units. They will be declared as, let's go for short. Yeah, those are the units and the data type is short. Okay, now because the name and the unit, because they are private, and for us to be able to gain access into it, we have to find a way to get that possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's say write only. There we go for properties. Property, and that property is just the student name anyway. Student name, and here we set as follows. Press enter. There we go. The value of the student. So in here, let's just say the values is going to be by value. Alright. And name equals value. Okay, so which means it's now going to be public. You should be able to gain access to that. Now the next one, okay, that is going to be more or less like a method that I will use to add up all of the scores or the results. I mean, so that's going to be public sub results. Let's call it results. So, and the result is declared as follows by value. So let's say unit 1 max, unit 1 max as, let's go for short as well. Right, that's for unit 1. Okay, I need unit 2 up to 8. So let's come in here, comma, unit 2, 3, 4. So let's change the names in there. That's 2. That's unit 3 Mac, unit 4 Mac. And I'm just going to press enter here. So let's do this first. Let's end this up so that that arrow goes. So rotating and comma. Let's put unit 5 here. 6, 7, and 8. Now this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and unit 8. Alright, those are all the units. So what I'm going to do now is I will now assign each of these units, because I have unit 1 to 8 here. Let me just copy it all, come down right here, paste it there. So that's this 1, 2, I just need to delete. Okay, so let's assign each of these units to each of these. So that is 1. Unit 1 has that, and unit 2. So we change that around anyway. 7 and 8. Right, those are all my units in place. Now, the next thing I like to do is to add up all of these and work out the average. So to do that, what I'm going to do is, because it's going to be changeable, the reason why it's going to be changeable is because we have different grading system here. So we have to use polymorphism, and to use that, so what I'm going to have to do is to use public. Let's say public override, which means it can be override. Okay, it's overridable. Alright, overridable function. So which means what is in here, the calculation in the unit grades in here can be override by the child class. Okay, a previous grade and new grading system can always override whatever we have in here. So I'm going to call that function calculate candidate grades. Right, that is the name. Let's say a string. There we go. Now let's declare the following. Let's say unit dim unit average as single. Now for the unit average, let's list the unit average itself here. So to work out the average, so just enter everything in there. I can just come in here, copy all of the units anyway. Copy all of this unit instead of typing it all over again. Bring it right down here and enter equals, let's paste it in a bracket and divide it by 8, because we have 8 units in total. Paste them in here and just change that to plus. Let's add up each of these units and divide by 8. There we go, guys. You see, it's sorted. And that will give us the average. You all know how to calculate average anyway. We have 8 units in total and divide that by 8. Now let's use select case. Select case, and what we're selecting from the unit average itself. Copy that from unit average there, and right in there, let's say case that is going to be if the grade is between 80 and 100. I would like it to return the following grade. Let's make that A. Right, so the next one is going to be 72. Let's paste that in. Yes, right, this is 70 to 79, so that's going to be B. 79, that's B, grade B. And 60 to 69, that will be grade C. Now let's go for 50, 59 with D, and we have 40 to 49. And finally, we have 0 to 39. Okay. 0 to 39, let's say that would be ungradable. And this would be E, grade E, right here. Let's make this D. We have A, B, C, and D. Okay, that is it. Okay, grade E. Oh, we can just make that F. That is a fail. No, because it's still gradable. And let's just say that is 1. And case 0. Case 0 is ungradable. Yeah. Now 0 is ungradable. Okay. Now that is done. So what we now need to do is, so have a good look at the parent class here. That is the parent class. Alright, take it down, have a good look at it. Just copy it, take your time. Now you can always modify it. Now let's come into the previous grades. With the previous grades, we would like the previous grade to inherit. We want it to inherit all of the content inside the old grading system here. So just copy this name. That's what we want to inherit. Come in there and just paste it there. Which means, yes, I'm going to have to inherit everything. However, I will override everything in there. I can always get it override or override. Now, let's say calculate candidate grades. Let's see. Calculate candidates grade. Copy that. Calculate candidate grade is more than one. Let's say grades. Let's put an S there. Change that. Okay, as a new name now. Calculate candidates grades. Copy. We're going to paste that in here. So paste that here. Calculate candidates grades as strings. Right. Once that is done, then we now say the candidate grades. Get that out. Candidate grades as strings. Now candidate grades itself, paste that here. Our candidate grades equals my dot, which means, so my base, my base that get everything within the parent, which is calculate candidate grades. There. Let's end this because of this silly error here. Alright, that's fine now. Candidate grades equals as follows. Right. And get rid of this. That should be there. Okay. So let's say if candidate grades equals A, then I like the system to return distinction. Wrong spelling. Return distinction. And supposing the candidate grade is B, let's say else if candidate grade equals grade B, If it's equals grade B, let's put that in a bracket. Or candidate grade is equals grade C equals C. I would like you to return merit. There. And if candidate grades, else if candidate grade if it's equals to, let's go for D and E, and that is a pass. Else we're gonna call that a fail. Else return fail. There, that's it. Okay, that's just the lines of code for that, and that takes care of everything. Now the last one is easy, so we can just copy all of these, copy it all, and just come to the new grading system here, paste everything in here. But the difference is, instead of A, or let's change this one to 9, and this B, I'm going to change B to 8. That's how the new grading system are. Then B, I think 7 is also classed as B, but you guys can always get that sorted anyway. I'm going to delete this one as well. So we have B, that will be 7. I'm going to copy all of this and omit the 6. Come right down here, paste that in there. So this will be 5. Let's say C, I'm aware of C is 5. Grade D, that will be 4. Okay, let's say E. Grade E, that will be 3. And F, we make that 2. And the other one is 1. So where we have a U, that will be 1. Copy that. And if we have a U there, that is 1. Else it's going to be fail. Right. I think that's the new grading system. It's not all that right. You can always carry out your own research into that. Okay, that is it. Okay, the next thing now is, let's go straight onto the form here, and I'm going to need the following. Let's come in here and grab a checkbox. No, let's use a radio button. Here, one radio button here, and let's increase the size of that very radio button to something a bit readable. So I'm just going to make that bold 14 and just hold on to the control, copy it across, and one more. So these radio buttons, this is the very first one and the second one. So what we want to do is, let's give this a name. I'm going to call it RB. Maybe we'll call it old grades. And in here, the text box, let's come in here and just change out to, let's see the name of these things. Okay, I'm going to call that old grading system. Now the next one here, this very one, let's call it, that's going to be previous grading system, and this is going to be RB, previous grading. Okay, now this one, this is going to be RB, new grading system. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. RB system. Right, that is the name of that. So let's copy this and I'll paste that one in here. Right, so the space in between. Okay, now the other thing that I'm going to need is I'm going to need some buttons, and the other thing is, let's get this very one, grading student. No, let's move it in here anyway. So that's where our result will be displayed. Now first thing, I'm going to just add one single button for now. Maybe put that here underneath here, and I can always amend as necessary and just change that to btn check grades. Right, and we can just call this check grades. Copy that, scroll right down, just change that to check grades and the text value here. Right, double click on this very button. Okay, now let's double click on this very button and add some code to it so that we're able to determine the current grading system, or for it to convert the grades actually. Now the first thing I'd like to do is to declare as follows, but I can maybe just copy that here. Let's copy all of those. I'm gonna need them, so let's actually need this. So let's go back in here. That's going to be unit mark. Right, let's come back in here, double click on it and paste that in here, and this will be, let's say, dim, and dim this as well, and this will become unit mark, unit 1 mark. So this will be unit 2 mark. There, that's good. So the next thing I like to do is for each of those units, in the first place, let's get the name sorted first. So name equals the student name. Let's see, what is it called right in here. Let's take that up. Okay, that's the student name. Alright, so that's the name, and I also have a surname as well, so I can always combine those two anyway. Name equals that and plus surname, so that will be the name. That should be text. Yeah, that's the name. Now for each of these, let's copy them. That will be for the subject. Yeah, and we'll find each subject. Okay, the first one I believe is math, so let's say, yeah, there we go, dot text. That's the first one. And the second one, what is the second one? The second one is English and computing. Let's come here, equals English. That's the English, the text, then followed by computing, computing text box dot text. Now let's see the other name, and the other one is biology, physics, chemistry. Back in there, biology, physics, chemistry. So I'll just speed that up anyway. Okay, there's something I've left out. I should have declared or create an object here. So that is supposed to be, let's call the first object, I'm going to call it old grading. Dim old grading as new old grading system. There we go. That is the first object created. The second object is going to be dim new grading or previous grading. Let's follow a consistent grading. Okay, those are my 3 objects created. There they are. So you guys will need that as well. Now let's move. The next thing is I'm going to use an if statement to check which of these objects is selected. If radio button, that will be old for the old one, dot. If radio button, old grade dot checked, let's say equals true, then what we want to do is, okay, let's say if we have the old grading dot, let's look for the student name, that will be equals name. There we go. Now old grading dot result equals as follows. So that will be all of this. So let me just copy those, paste it all in there, and just close the bracket off. That is for the old grading. Let me get rid of that. Okay, then we now need to output everything in here. So let's say dot text equals, that will be the old grading system, this one, this object. Paste that in there. The old object dot calculate candidate grades there. So that's it. Now supposing the checkbox that was selected is the previous one, so let's get the name of that. That is the name. We need that name. So let's come back in here, double click on that, and take this down. Let's just paste it somewhere and comment it out. Right. So else if it's previous, cut that off, paste this here, there. Then all of this here will become previous. Let's get the previous objects. Yeah, this one. Copy that and bring this down here. Previous. Right. And that is it done. Yeah. So we copy it for the last one. And so that's supposed to be new grading system, I think. Let's see if it's correct. No, it's not correct. Let's see the name of that. Alright, copy that back in here, just change that around there. And we also need to change the object to the new grading system. Then we can then try out our program and see how it's going to work. copy this as well, paste it there. So what's happening in here is all about polymorphism. So what will happen is, if I select any of these text checkbox, any of this radio button, okay, the child class will actually change the value that we have inside the parent class. So that's what's going to happen here. So let me try it out and see. Okay, let's try it out and see. Click on start. Alright, here we go, guys. So we can add student details in there. Let's say that's the student ID, and the student name is Pete Moore. Okay, that's the candidate details that I've actually speed up, and the course title, let's call that BTech Computing, and course code, I'm just gonna make that up. That's the course code there, and level 3. Okay, maths, English, and biology. So just make that up. Right, economics, more or less an average student. Now let's check out the old grade pattern. There we go. That's a D. And let's check out the previous grading system. That's an ordinary pass. And in here, the new grading system, that's a 4. Okay, so supposing this goes up a little bit, still a 4, that's still a pass. And this, let's see what's gonna happen here. That's a C, not too bad. Merit. Okay, you see how it works. That is polymorphism, because what's happening is polymorphism is able to change the parent details or the parent data type. Okay, just more or less update the parent data type. That's all about polymorphism. So with that, guys, I suppose you all enjoyed. I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. So you all have a nice day now. Bye for now.